Welcome back, traders. Today I want to get back to the basics a little bit more. I haven't done a back testing video in some time. And I think a lot of trading, we think of it as predictive, right? We're trying to predict the future. It's not about predicting the future. It's about reacting to probability. And when that edge gets dull, we don't gamble harder. Let's go back to the lab. That's what we should be doing. So this is kind of my regrouping that I've been talking about. And admittedly, I've had a little bit of strategy drift. I think that can happen even to successful traders. And so I'm trying to strip away the noise, just focus on what actually works, my edge, and not focus even so much on my indicator. What I've realized is I've come to rely on it so heavily that I don't think a lot about the actual strategy, the basics that goes on here. So today I want to get into TradeZella. We're going to show you what that looks like, what this backtesting tool looks like, and more than anything, how I work my strategy when I strip away that indicator. Let's get into it.
Welcome to Many Millions, where we focus on the many reps and the million moments it takes to build a trading career.
So I'm in here in TradeZella. You can see that I've actually been running several back tests over my time in here. Was a long ways through the MNQ back test. Realized that my emotions come into play a lot more in MNQ simply because of the volatility. I don't love when it pulls against me, and lately MES has been doing that ever since the government shutdown. So really, it's a dynamic market, and you need to adapt. What I wanted to do is get back to the basics here inside of my MES testing. So I started this about a year back from current, and I'm 4 months into this back testing. What I love about this tool, and I'll talk a little bit about this, it tracks every single thing you're doing, and then you can actually come back in here and see what your stats are for this. So if I back up a little bit and I go to my dashboard and I switch over to my MES testing, not my MNQ. MNQ, as you can see, looks fantastic. I want to get back into that, but right now I'm primarily focused on MES, and you can see my daily win percentage goes up in MES. My trade win percentage goes up. I just haven't gotten the back testing fully fleshed out like I have in MNQ. I'm not as far along in this. So really good stats here. They just do all of this automatically as you're testing inside of their tool. You don't have to do anything special to get all of this and know where you're at, what you've been doing, your average hold time. All of that is just there. So love TradeZella for this stuff. Going to continue this session, and let's get into, looks like we're on July 9th, 2024. You can see I'm still looking for my double bounce here. This is, again, kind of getting back to the basics. I am going to see what indicators I can pull in. I've got a VWAP in here, and I've got a 9 EMA. But I still have my 4 stochastics. Now, this is my standard setup, right? And I still have volume profile in here. What I don't have is my own custom indicator that tells me when to buy, when to sell. I want to get away from that, make sure that I'm still thinking about what's going on in the market. You need to be able to read current conditions and not just rely on some indicator. I'm going to hide that. I've been trading on the 1 minute inside of this. Inside of this back test, but I actually want to flip it over to a 3 minute. That's where my focus has been lately, and that's where I want to continue to focus. I'm going to turn back on the VWAP now, and now that it's got its anchor point over here, looks like it's going to be good. So we're approaching noon, looks like, which is probably, if I've already had a trade here, looks like I had a couple of wins, and then I would probably just call that good and bow out. I'm going to stick with my standard 10 contracts. Now that's high for me in current MES. I will say that. For back testing, the only thing you want to make sure you do is stay consistent. And that really proves out your edge. I'm sticking with 10 contracts, and I'm going to throw my ticks for take profit and stop loss in here. We'll go 20 and 80. That's going to be my standard now that I'm on the 3 minute time frame, but we'll look and see what this looks like. We may adjust these ticks because I think I'm used to the 20 tick stop loss right now in the volatile market that MES has become. It's not likely that anymore. But you can see here my stochastics aren't lining up, right? I'm at the top of this stochastic here on my fast stocks 1 and 2, at the bottom of 3 and 4. So there could still be some momentum shifting up, but this isn't truly my main trade, I would say. just because it's happening so late. I would typically wait until I get these three, both from the bottom ramping up. So with that, we're going to let this play out. Now, it looks like it's going to hold around the VWAP here. This is typical MES behavior. And again, that's the key, I think, to backtesting is read it like you would a normal live market. I don't know what this CME data looks like. I don't remember what July in 2024 looks like. So I'm truly reading it as if it's a live market, and that gets me in the same mindset as the live market. Now I've got my hooks coming over here. I'm going to keep waiting, and I'm going to speed this up just a little bit for us. Looks like it wants to roll over. We did have stocks 3 and 4 even come up enough that now it looks like it all wants to roll over. But it also looks like a little bit of consolidation here. I say consolidation, and then suddenly you get some big bullish moves like that. Crucially, what I am missing in here is divergence, right? I don't have a way to detect divergence from an indicator. I've got to do that on my own through these stochastics. So you have to kind of watch these candles and say, did I get the bounce that this stochastic, this fast stock shows on these candlesticks? And if not, that's a sure telling sign that you're looking at some divergence. We had a little bit of a double bottom here. We've now crossed over that 9 EMA. I'm on the low side on the two fast stochastics, but I'm a little bit into oversold on that third stochastic. Doesn't scare me too much, but I actually think I might throw on a trade here. I meant to make this an auto break even trade on a 1R. So let me close this guy out, and I'm going to throw in my new one that has an auto break even at 1R. I'm risking 250 for 1,000. I'm not likely going to get 80 ticks out of that. That's just my guess. I'm gonna give it. I'll take it to 650, but I don't even love that. I'd probably keep it to the top of this range. This is where this range on MES has been all day, right? We started out at the 930 time frame. It's hovered in this range. I'd be a fool to think it's going to go any higher than that now. It's possible, but more than likely, the market's just going to do what it's been doing. So I'm going to slow this down just one since we've got a trade on. And let's see how this pans out here. So it's immediately moving against me and looks more like more of that consolidation after we had some volatility that kind of ramped it up and down. But it is holding. And I spoke too soon, not going to hold. Looks like it's on the downtrend here. And I would probably strive to get out at break even. I'm looking at these fast stocks here to see if I want to hold and see if it can magnetize up a little bit towards that VWAP. It's going to want to, but we're in the middle of this range on the fast stock, already in the middle on the second. I'll hold it. Let's just maintain our stop loss so that we're not messing with our stats there. In a live trading session, and this is where I should get better about backtesting the same way I would live, but it's all about capital preservation for me. And so if I had the chance to break back even after I thought it was turning against me, I'd be taking that. This is going to come dangerously close to tapping me out. I think it's going to tap me out. I wouldn't normally stay in a trade this long. And there it finally tapped me. Okay. That's okay. That's part of this process. And backtesting, what I love about it is honestly one of the easiest ways to get comfortable with a loss. You say, hey, I had a double bottom. I'd take that trade again. I still don't even know where it's going to go, but that cross over the 9 EMA looked pretty good, looked like it was going to continue to mirror this volatility, and instead it hit consolidation. That's a lesson that your brain can absorb and say, you still have your edge. It's okay. You're not less of anything. You're not less worthy or anything like that simply because the trade didn't go your way. That was still a valid trade. They just can't all go your way. You can't win them all. Simple as that. So with that, I'm going to skip forward another day. And this is, again, another cool thing about this tool. I'm just going to go ahead and pop over. We're going to go one day forward. I'm going to go to the 9 o'clock. This is 9:10. Sure, that works great. And now here we are. We're back at 9:10 one day later. So right before the New York Open, we'll play through this. I'll speed it up a little bit. Let's see if we can find another trade headed into this day. Okay, so now we're right at opening. You see the volume spike way up. Again, I'm on the 3-minute time frame. So a lot of times I do look at the 1-minute time frame back for confirmation that it's crossed over the 9 EMA, and then I try to get my early entry for a 3-minute time frame. This one we still need to wait and see what the range is going to be, right? We're now into the first 15 minutes, yes, but I don't have a range. I don't have a gauge at all other than it looks bullish. Okay, so now we've got our first break of that 9 EMA. It looks like we've got a good hook over here, here, here. I'm going to back up just one candlestick, and I'm going to take this trade, actually. It looks to me like it was stair-stepping up bullish, and the second it got the chance to, it really wants to push with some significant bearish volume here. So again, I'm still going to take I'm going to bump this to 60, even that might be a little aggressive. We're going to do a sell. Whoops, I hate when it flips that like that. Okay, we're going to fix this. I'm just going to cancel that order, and we're going to say stop loss is 20, 60 for the take profit. If you noticed, when I flip to sell, it actually reverses these fields, and I'm not sure why they do that. I get that it's sell, and so it switches the direction, but these profit target stop losses, those boxes should never change to me. That's a little bit of a nuance, I would say, to TradeZella. Let's put on our 10 lots then in the opposite direction, right? Not 20, just 10. I guess I'll just buy 10 back so that it's backed off. I'm not sure why that wouldn't let me click inside of there like I normally do, but. And if you look here, I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. I'm down to the bottom of this range where it has tapped quite a bit. So this is a significant range, even if you were to zoom out on the 15-minute time frame, say. We're way above the VWAP, so it's going to want to magnetize down to that. The question is, will it push through it or will it bounce off of it? That is where we're going to see it go. Okay, so I'm up 100. As long as it holds that 9 EMA, I'm good. I think I should have my auto break even in here as well. Stay in my direction, though. It's down to the VWAP, and I kind of expect a little bit of consolidation around the VWAP. That's just, again, pretty normal MES behavior. What I am getting a little bit worried about now is it's respecting the VWAP. It's actually traversed above it and above the 9 EMA. So under normal circumstances, I would probably, in a live market, be just taking that for a $125 win. It already moved to break even, and so I'm not out anything, and I really want to keep my stats on this pretty true to form to see what it's doing. If it, maybe I just need to determine, hey, I'm trying for a 60 tick take profit. Maybe that's just too much. I needed to be at the 40 or 25 tick, and that would have been down to the bottom of opening range so far. We're going to wait it out and see, but that's just an idea I want to throw out there, just trying to give you my mindset as I enter these. Yeah, it's gonna tap me. Yep. Okay. So again, I like that this is just reinforcing good trading behavior. If you're respecting your rules and you didn't lose any money, you start to disassociate that I'm not smart enough or I'm not good enough for the market. That's just the market trying to create self-doubt in you, and it doesn't get you anywhere. But you need to be able to lose and still move on. I guess you could say it as a way to kind of convey this. You need to be so disciplined that after losing 2 trades in a row, you're still willing to commit fully to that third trade and treat it just like the 2 before. Mentally, that gets very, very difficult, especially when you get on a consistent losing streak. And so that's really what I think backtesting helps a lot with, on top of the technical aspect of you being able to just see your strategy in a more bare bones chart. And I think that's crucial if you want to understand your strategy well, that you be able to strip down your chart and say, I don't need anything but these 4 stochastics, a volume indicator, and my 9 EMA. The VWAP is even a nice to have, but I don't need my own custom indicator. I need to understand the market without all of that. So let's go ahead and play this through, see if we can find one more trade in this day. I might move on to, maybe we can get through the rest of the week. We'll do Thursday, July 11th and Friday, and then see if we get something from there, or just kind of see where our stats are at the end. I don't want to make this video too long, but again, just talking through my process, my mindset here. Yeah, so we've got a bullish day. It looks like it's going to break beyond that New York opening range that it had. But I'm not seeing enough volume or really anything to indicate that a trade would be coming off of this top. Nothing saying that. So let's go ahead and move on to the next day. Again, we'll scroll back here to that 9 o'clock time frame. Okay, so we're over here now on July 11th, Thursday, 9:07, so not quite the 9:30 opening. I'm going to play forward here a little bit. Sorry guys, I've been under the weather, so I need a little bit of water more than ever. Boy, almost an hour into opening and just nothing. A whole lot of nothing. There's some decent bearish movement. Okay. All right. So let me pause this here. Nothing really to indicate this was going to fall that hard, right? But it's the first big move of the day. Now, do we think it's going to retrace up here to the 57.05 level? Maybe. We've got good hooks coming over on these four stochastics, so it's possible. I'd look for a 1, 2, 3 on ramp with my volume to indicate that it's going to carry that a little bit more. We're only on the 3-minute. Again, we could zoom out to the 1 minute. I am almost certain it has. Yeah, I knew it would have traversed that 9 EMA. I'm just not sure I want to take it quite yet. But I do have a 1, 2, 3 on ramp right here, which is a good indication. And again, just starting on the 1 minute. You know what? Feeling a little bit more confident now that I've got confirmation on that 1 minute. Let's go ahead and take this buy here. And now you can see my fields are reversed again. I'm going to do 20 and 60. Again, that's a $250 risk. That's really not much. 10 lots today, I'm not playing with that much because $250 risk is, I'm normally running a 22 tick stop loss and I hit it routinely within a single bar. It's just moving a lot more than it used to at this time last year. Well, and even this is a little bit too tight, right? I'm to the bottom of the body of those candlesticks, so that's not great. I usually take my stop loss right below the wicks of both. And alternatively, or I should say opposingly on the other side, I can take profit to the top of that range. Okay, let's see how this plays. I'm going to leave it at the 2x. Let me slow it down. I like slowing it down, especially on the 3-minute time frame, just because I want to feel those emotions. I'm trying to get myself in a real trade scenario in my brain. I shouldn't treat it any differently. Otherwise, you're not getting the benefit of backtesting that you normally should. See, and already, I mean, you can tell how much faster this is, even at 1x speed. That was 3 minutes instant. And I already feel a little anxious. This is turned against me. It did not cross over the 9 EMA like I would typically wait for, even though it had on the 1 minute. I'm going to go to the 1 minute. Okay, it has held the 9 EMA on the 1 minute. And we got a little bit of consolidation here, maybe a hammer candle there. We'll go ahead and play it forward, though. And let's see if it stays over that 9 EMA. Now we have that 3-minute cross. Yep, I think it's going to turn against me and tap me out. There it goes. So, I was too impatient on this one. Now I'm starting to see that double bottom. It's not a true double bottom, I know, but this is now more interesting because on the 3-minute, it kind of traversed over that line, over the oversold line, right? And now it's back under, but wants to hook back up again. That's when I see bigger moves. But now I'm a little on the back foot, right? I already lost one. Where's my discipline? Where is my mindset? Can I handle another trade? And I know this is backtesting, so the emotions won't run nearly as high. I have to kind of self-consciously get into that mindset, force it a little bit more, because it's not just right there on the surface like it normally would be. I'm going to check the 1 minute here. So we had a crossover the 9 EMA, a hold of the 9 EMA, a hold again, but I don't have my on ramp. I'm going to let this play one more candle on the 1 minute. I'm not looking for my reentry with too much angst yet. Okay, now I've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on ramp, all ramping up, all look good. I am missing my VWAP, which I wish I had the visuals for. I may zoom out just to get it back a little bit. I want to know where that VWAP is so that I know what it should be looking to magnetize to. Getting rid of some of these others here. Let's zoom out to the 15 minute as well. I'm hoping that'll pull in the VWAP. There it goes. Okay. So on the 15 minute, you can see we're well below that VWAP. We've had a lot of bearish movement previously. Sorry, did I say bearish? We've had a lot of bullish movement overall on the market. You can see day over day, we're actually pretty bullish here, but we had a massive move down. Now, if the market is going to likely continue what it's been doing, it's a bullish trend overall, right? I'm guessing we're looking for long again. So that's what I'm now looking for. And I have my VWAP here to help me find that a little bit better. I know it's up around this level if you zoom out and see that it's at the 5682. Okay. 5682, that's up here. I think it's going to push that way. Let's go ahead and take my trade. Close on the 20 ticks. It might be 22, 23. I'll take it to about 312. But again, on the opposite side, I'm taking it to the top of that range. That's 1300. $300 risk for a $1,300 reward. I'll take that all day. Ooh, nope, that did not go well. Well, you can see I'm 0 for 3 here on my back testing. That's not great. It's okay though. I'm gonna regroup here. Let's keep it going. Again, I do like to just keep trying to feel, even if it's in a lighter aspect for my emotions. I want to feel what it would normally feel like to have a red day like I'm having. So let it set in. It doesn't take long. You can feel that emotion for just a couple of seconds and move on. You don't need to beat yourself up. It is just back testing. But you need to make sure that you're at least recognizing that emotion so that you're staying in that same disciplined state. Now I got a double, triple bottom here. It wants to do something, but man, it sure doesn't have the volume to move it, does it? No, it really doesn't. All right, I'm going to call it on Thursday, July 11th, 2024. Let's move on to Friday. We'll do this last day of the week, and I'll leave you guys there just to give you an idea what my back testing looks like. I hope to be doing quite a bit more of this over the holidays. Again, regrouping, getting back to the basics, recognizing my emotions. For me, it's all about that psychology because the market is a mirror, and I'm kind of losing a little bit of that reflection I used to have in that mirror, I guess I would say. All right, here we are near the New York Open. I want to zoom out on the 15 minute. I'm glad I added that in. So we are at a significant level here. You can see we had a huge wick through, definitely news, I'm sure. But in this zone, we'll call it 5636 to 5646. Somewhere in this zone is definitely a significant number of touch points. It is a range that MES likes to respect, bounce off of, if you will. So let's play it through. Let's see what we get. We're zoomed in. Yeah, that should be about right. I have my VWAP, which is great. So coming up on New York Open, getting some good volume. Looks bullish. We're now above that range, mind you. I'll zoom back out to show you that, but yeah, we're now pushing off of this bottom. Looks like it may just want to continue here. But you never know. Each day that New York range kind of sets itself. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. We're all right. Just didn't want it playing forward without me being zoomed in a little bit more to show you what this looks like because I'm still trying to explain my process, my mindset here as I look for my strategy. One of the strategies I played with, by the way, is I look for these bounces, right? And if it's a trending day, I've called this out before in other videos, but I'll look for this pullback. It crosses over the 9 EMA. The next candle that crosses above that 9 EMA is an indication that it's going to be continuation, not a reversal like I normally look for, right? I look for those mean reversals, but really this is a strategy you could implement for a continuation. Trend is your friend is it's a saying for a reason. You need to have a way to play the trend when it's a trending day. Yeah, so we got another little pullback there, but it looks like it wants to push higher. And there you could take this continuation trade. Now I'm not mixing and matching. This is my quad rotation strategy. And I've even labeled it as such, okay? So I'm not mixing and matching. Wow. Mixing and matching my strategies inside of backtesting. It has to be a clean strategy, stop losses respected. That's how you get your stats and find your edge and know where you need to improve. So I wouldn't mix my continuation strategy in with this backtesting strategy. Just wanted to call that out. Okay, we've had the crossover the 9 EMA and it kind of peaked over here. You can see we've got a little bit of an off ramp. We're now well into, we're almost approaching oversold conditions on the fast stock one, but we're overbought still on the slow stocks. I'm going to let this play out a little bit. I'm hoping for some consolidation in there, slowly bringing these slow stocks down into the range that I want to see. And meanwhile, getting a little bit of this bounce up and over on the fast stocks to show me that it wants to reverse. Okay, this is a pretty good sign. You see, we've got good curl here on the top two stocks. Start of a curl on the third stock. What I'm going to wait for is one more candle to fall below the previous low. So I'm looking for it to be below the 56.82 level, if you can see that. Oh boy. Yeah, and there it went. So now we're very much in. I could have zoomed out to the 1 minute, but really there are times you don't even do that inside of a normal market, right? Let's take this up to 60. We're going to reverse the stop loss to 20. There we go. 1R is our auto break even. I'm guessing we're going to be more like 25 there. That was a big wick down. A lot more than that. So really, I do keep respect to my stop loss more than I respect my amount here. I'm not going to risk $562 in a normal market. I just wouldn't do that. So I think I'm going to back off here about 3 contracts. Let's just throw that on there. That's 393, and I could take it to the bottom of the range there, $1,100. Okay, I'll let that play. $400 for 1,000. It's not terrible, and I did have a good wicking candle below that, so we'll play. Not my favorite trade, but we'll play. Now I should be reaching my auto break even real soon. As long as it keeps respecting that 9 EMA, it's a little bit above it, but it's really respecting it well. And I'm right at entry still, so some heavy consolidation is really what it looks like. It's going against me. So, going against me, don't love it. I got to let it play out here, but that wasn't my most favorite trade. It's going to tap me. Just giving it a minute here to see if there's anything really noteworthy the rest of the day. But after a single loss like that would be my day, and that's okay. So I had a losing streak on this week, ending in Friday, July 12th. Yeah, I thought this one was starting to get interesting. What's not getting interesting is it's late in the day. This is 2 o'clock. Doesn't look like there's a ton of volume, momentum to move this the way you would want, but it did come down hard, respected that 9 EMA for a minute. Even still, it's respecting it, but I'm just barely below that lowest low. Wouldn't even say quite yet. And look at where my stock 1 and stock 2 are. They're almost into oversold conditions. So no trade. It is interesting that I get my slow stocks coming in here. I'm going to pause that because now I've got my fast stocks that kind of ramped back up. They've got a good curl to them again. And with that VWAP down there, for shits and giggles, I'm going to give you guys a show and go one more. Let's see if I can break my losing streak here. So I'm going to take profit. Yep, I'll go 60, 25. We're going to bump this up. It's going to be more like 30, isn't it? With this, it might even be more than that. That means I'm going to take this to like 7 as my contract size. Yep, that's much better. I like the 300 range for that stop loss is about right. And I'll take it down to the VWAP, really. That's kind of where I would magnetize to. It should want to come and pull down to that VWAP unless it's truly that bullish trend, in which case that's okay. Yeah, so I caught that one early a little bit, but it does look like it wants to roll over or just consolidate. There it goes. There's better movement. Now at this point we are break even. I'm noticing that the VWAP is a little bit above my take profit. I think it'll magnetize to it, but I want to follow that as this trade goes through. I want to follow that all the way through to the VWAP. So there's my tap. Yeah, it would have kept going, sure. But at the VWAP level, I'm already $1,000, and look at the consolidation that happens around that VWAP. That's why I wouldn't really just play with that. Beyond that, I'm okay. And I think by my calculations, we ended up back at a break even with that single trade, right? We had several losses, stop losses hit in this trading session, and then one trade made it all back. What I had from all the many losses, maybe not quite, pretty close though. I think I was at 44,000 something. So we can go back in here. I can even give you a day view of what this looks like. You can come in and actually monitor these or log these, journal them as if they were your normal trades, okay? So yeah, definitely not quite. I had 393, 312, 412 offset by 857. So got some money back, but definitely not overall. And you can see I've had some other bigger trades in here. I had a $950 trade, but mostly I keep my trades pretty small. I'm losing 2 to 300. I'm winning 4 to 5. That's kind of where I'm at. So profit factor here of 2.5. I'm at nearly 5,000, and I'll keep this back test going and update you guys as I continue to build this out and just get more back testing under my belt. Like that day win rate though, we're going to keep going with it inside of July. Let's see how many trades we get there. We're at 4K in June. I'm not even to 1,000 in July, and I've got 17 trades out of 24 if I'm keeping steady with that. So let's see how it goes, and we'll just continue to build this out. I'll be doing again a lot more of these backtesting videos where I give you a lot more of my mindset, a lot more of my naked strategy, naked chart, how I handle my emotions, and how I get into backtesting while trying to mirror those emotions as best I can that I would have in the live market. So this is going to come back a little bit to my mantra, right? That I call out in a lot of my videos, not every video, but my mantra that many millions is about the million moments, the reps it takes to build a trading career. That's what this is. The moments of backtesting 1,000 times. That's what makes sure that you have a working edge and that you keep it working. So the back to the basics is just whether you're a pro or a beginner, that's really where it should stay and kind of be your foundational. I got to get back to that. And so I love having that kind of trading plan where I just circle back. It's time to get back to the basics. Is backtesting boring? Yeah. It honestly is, and that's okay. It should feel boring. I'm doing the boring work today so that I can be profitable tomorrow. We're replacing anxiety with data. What is that saying that is you always revert back to your least amount of training, right? In a crisis situation? It's very, very similar inside of the trading psychology. You're going to fall back to your least trained mindset. And if that is undisciplined, if that is at all faltering, then you're going to struggle in the market. Plain and simple. I just, that confidence doesn't come from a motivational speech. It comes from seeing your edge work 1,000 times over in backtesting. So I encourage you guys to comment your go-to setup below. If you're doing backtesting like this, are you using TradeZella? Are you logging manually? That's one of the reasons I prefer this. It's boring enough to do that backtesting, but I think the repetitions are necessary. I love that TradeZella tracks those stats for me, even without my indicator. So again, back to the naked chart, back to the basics. We'll catch you in the next one. Happy trading, everybody.